Hi everybody, welcome to our latest update from your branch of the NTEU at Deakin University. As you're aware, we're in the thick of our bargaining schedule, and we had another full day meeting today, and we discussed a number of things, and most importantly, as noted in our update last week, we had sought formal responses in writing from management to a couple of really important issues that we had put on the table to date, around, for instance, workload models and limits, workload committees, meaningful consultation in terms of the implementation of the EA and workloads. What other issues, Jack, did we put on the table?
We discussed decasualisation and what that would look like with set targets and a meaningful reduction in kind of a reliance on casual workers in the workforce. Academic freedom was something we discussed. And of course, our ask for a 15% pay rise over the life of the agreement.
Yeah, so in the simplest terms, we have not achieved agreement on any of those matters. And this means that we are seeking to escalate the negotiations in order to meaningfully progress and achieve outcomes for our members on the basis of the log of claims that were endorsed by our membership, as well as our mandatory national claims endorsed by the union itself last year. So this means a couple of things, and most importantly, and Jack is going to speak as our organizer in a second to one of the things that we will be asking, inviting your meaningful input into very soon. But this means that we've come to a point where our members need to become vocal and involved in order for us to continue to sort of really advocate for meaningfully improved working conditions and pay. Jack, where to next?
Thanks, PABO. So what we need to do is we need to come together and start talking seriously about how we get management to listen. And the easiest way to do that is for us to take protected industrial action. Now, to do that and to decide on what that industrial action might look like, we need members to come together and vote on a series of actions that we will then take to Fair Work. Now, this is called a Protected Action Ballot. So on the 28th of February at 12 p.m. on Zoom, when I ask you to turn up, we'll present some actions that we want to take. It's also a space where you can bring along and provide feedback about additional actions you might want to see there. We will have a vote, and then depending on how that goes, we can progress toward making our voices heard. As Piper said, there's some real urgency to doing this. Management's somewhat obfuscating or confusing in their communications. They've said that they're offering a 3% pay rise. That's actually an overstatement of their position. They've offered 2.85%. And while they've compared their rate of pay to places like Melbourne or Monash, it's worth noting that they are also in bargaining and they are going towards industrial action at present. In places where the NTEU has secured agreement, we're looking closer to a 5% per year pay raise, which is what we're asking for. So for instance, at ACU, we're looking at about 4.5 per year, although the way it's divided is a bit confusing. Yeah. Is there anything else, Piper?
No, I think, as Jack says, it's really important that two of our biggest key issues have been refused now. And that's our minimum 15% pay increase over the life of the agreement, which is at least 3 years, and their response to that is woefully inadequate, given the very real pressures that a lot of households and workers across not only our industry but across Australia and in our communities are facing, given the cost of living increases. The other big issue that I think many of our members care most about is about the working conditions and the workload, the workload pressures, and that has had no real negotiation. There's been effectively no attempts to compromise on that, nor to agree to our proposal of an overall reduction in hours for all workers across the university. So I think we can talk about those issues, as Jack says, at our all members meeting, and I really look forward to hearing from you. So thank you very much.